This is an open letter for President Biden and President Trump and the rest of the leadership of North America and Western Europe, and those who are going to be leaders in the future. Folks, uh, we have one humble request from you, a very humble request, and that is please be more Christian. Yeah, I know, it's passé that Christianity is, it's uh, it's not, let's say, fashionable any longer to promote Christianity and Christian ideals. But we beg of you, please try to be a little more Christian. Uh, in specific, the whole idea of uh, don't want for your neighbors what you don't want for yourself, and the whole idea of practice what you preach and preach what you practice. That's, the basis of Christianity, and the basis of most religions is that ideal that, trying to, you know try to, have one face instead of two face. That's the idea behind most religions. Why am I saying this, folks? It, the thing is, when I say practice what preach what you practice, what I mean is the idea of inclusivity as opposed to exclusivity. What you are practicing in North America and Western Europe is the idea that inclusivity is good. It's good to be inclusive. And because it's very practical thing, it brings peace. Inclusivity brings peace. Somehow, if people manage to accept each other's differences and live together, you will have you will have peace. And that has been practiced and seen over and over again. That gives the same result. Inclusivity brings peace. Inclusivity brings peace, and so there has never been an exception to this rule that inclusivity brings peace. Therefore, you practice inclusivity inside North America and inside Western Europe. You go so far out of your way to practice and preach domestically practice and preach inclusivity in order to keep a sane society, in order to keep the blood off the streets and have a functioning society. And even you go to civil war at the price of 500,000 people killed, and one of the reasons you participate in that civil war is to promote inclusivity. One of the reasons was that to include the black people from the South into the society, incorporate them into the society, not as a segregated portion of society as slaves. War in the South. Now, my point is this: that you go as far as domestically, you go as far as participating in the civil war in order to promote the idea of inclusivity domestically, which is a good thing. Inclusivity brings peace and prosperity for everyone included, as long as the same laws apply to everyone. And as you go, as you have gone farther along, you have stopped things like redlining in real estate and segregation and anything else which has been similar to slavery and segregation. anything that had that kind of smell to it, you try to stop as a society, domestically, in order to have a peaceful society. And we all see that, and the result is great. Thank you very much. Now, my question to you is, why aren't you promoting inclusivity internationally? Well, some can guess why you are not promoting inclusivity internationally, but that's for another story. But what I'm saying here is that please preach what you practice. You practice inclusivity. Please preach for the same internationally. Because this whole idea of Israel has a right to exist. I said this before. Jewish people have the right to exist. Jewish people have the right to exist anywhere they want, in peace and prosperity. But saying that a pink-skinned European administration governing a piece of brown-skinned Asia, that's promoting exclusivity. You're promoting that a group of European pink-skins who have landed in a corner of brown-skinned Asia have the right to bring about an exclusively Jewish administration. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for war, because you're promoting exclusivity. Doesn't anybody see this in all these, all these intelligent and wise men who are ruling the pink-skinned societies in the West? Doesn't anybody see this? The problem, all these wars and all this bloodshed, is because you're promoting exclusivity in West Asia. What you don't allow or promote inside the United States, inside North America, inside Canada, inside England, inside France, inside Belgium, you don't promote that. You say, no, we are inclusive, we are one society and the same laws applies to all. But when it comes to South Africa, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to Ukraine, you're promoting exclusivity. In Ukraine, what happened? Your people, Miss Victoria Nolan and Miss Clinton and all of those folks, what they did was promote Ukrainian nationality as opposed to this inclusive identity of Ukraine, which was both Ukrainian, Tatar, Russian, this. Ukraine was similar to the United States, as most countries are. It's a hodgepodge of different ethnicities and different religions. Most places on earth are like that. But if you promote, fund, arm one group and tell them, yes, you have the right to be exclusive in that land, that's where the trouble starts. Most countries on this planet, on your planet Earth, most countries have a lot of different religions and nationalities, and ethnicities mixed. And the only way to have peace is if you promote inclusivity, as you promote inclusivity in North America and Western Europe. What I'm trying to say is, you can't promote exclusivity over there, but promote inclusivity over here. Promote exclusivity internationally, tell the fucking Ukrainian nationalists that, they have the right to have all that land to themselves, and they should kick the Russians out, and kick the Russian church out, and kick this out, and kick that out, and because they have the right to be Ukrainian nationalists. And you promote it, and you arm it, and you do this, and you do that. You go to Israel, you say, yes, this piece of land over here should be exclusively for white people from Europe who happen to be Jewish. Okay, promoting exclusivity at the expense of the native brown skins who are not white, who are not European, and who happen not to be Jewish. It's a recipe for war. It's like you're forcing war. It's like you're promoting war. Wherever you promote exclusivity, you're promoting war. You took over Iraq. You told the Kurds that they can be exclusive. You're funding the Kurds and you're promoting exclusivity in the Kurdish regions. That's like you can be exclusive. That's a recipe for future war. As it is, we saw with the ISIS and the Kurds, and you're promoting exclusivity in all areas of the world that you have interest in, but promoting inclusivity at home. Why I say you're promoting exclusivity in all areas of the world that you have interest in is because we understand why you're doing that, why your wise men are doing that. Because when you promote exclusivity in other places, you cause division and you cause skirmishes, and then eventually you will cause war when you promote exclusivity. And this war allows you to step in with your military and, as peacekeepers. But in reality, it allows you, the Pink Skin Empire, to put soldiers on the ground to keep the peace, or to fight on the side of that exclusive, to fight on the side who's you given the right to have an exclusive governance or an exclusive administration to govern a piece of land. That's what happened in Vietnam. That's what happened in Korea. You pick a side, you give them the right to be exclusively in charge of a piece of land, and then the other sides don't accept, so you start arming your side and putting advisors on the ground and putting soldiers on the ground, trying to help the faction that you support, and you give the right to have exclusive power over that piece of land. You give them the right to start fighting the other ones who want to be included. That's just mean. That's just not Christian. You practice inclusivity because you understand the value of peace and prosperity domestically. But you promote exclusivity in many places on planet Earth. Because you understand that exclusivity is going to bring about war, and that allows you to put soldiers on the ground, and the whole idea of divide and rule. Divide and rule, divide and rule, divide and rule, divide and rule. Let's break those countries to exclusively smaller and smaller pieces, and now they're all divided. Now we can rule over all of them as the Pink Skin Empire. That's the whole fucking idea. The British, while the British were ruling subcontinent of India, they promoted inclusivity between the Hindus and the Muslims and whoever the fuck lived over there, while they were in charge. The moment the British were no longer in charge, they promoted exclusivity, and the whole fucking subcontinent started fighting each other, and the Hindus and the Muslims started killing each other until the whole fucking subcontinent broke apart into Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. That's the thing. And now they're at each other's throat with nuclear weapons because the British promote exclusivity after they left. While they were there, inclusive. They promoted inclusivity. And everything was fine, but only the British prospered. But the moment they left, they promoted exclusivity and made sure the subcontinent didn't stay together. And this cocksucker Modi is right now promoting exclusivity of Hindus. This is going to be another shit show. Fuck. Folks, anywhere in the world you promote exclusivity, you're going to have divisions and wars. And it's just, it's not kosher to say that, because we want to rule over those motherfuckers, we're going to divide them, promote exclusivity and divide them, and that brings our soldiers in, and then we have control over them, and then we can rule them. Is it worth it? I don't know. Peace and prosperity benefits most people. These divisions are only benefiting these exclusivity, which leads ideas of exclusivity, which leads to divisions, which leads to war. It's only benefiting the sword makers. It's only benefiting the sword makers. Not even Coca-Cola and GE and General Electric and General Dynamics. Not even these regular corporations are benefiting from these divisions and exclusivities. Not even these guys. The only people the only entities in capitalism that are benefiting from these ideas of divide and rule are the sword makers, the arms makers. This is not good. I mean, yes, we understand that a lot of the industry in the West are, arms related. It's like one of the few industries that remains, exclusively, remains exclusively a national matter. It's the arm industry, but you can't build your whole economy around arms industry. And now you have been building your politics around the arms industry, and you have building your societies around arms industry, and arms in the street, and arms in the alleys, and arms everywhere, and arms exported to Mexico and Canada, and arms exported overseas. And this is all a result of promoting exclusivity. And the problem is, doesn't matter how much you preach that. I saw a tweet from President Biden, which was very nice. He said, yeah, we don't have Islamophobia in America, and we don't have anti-Semitism in America, and it was very nice. But the problem is the double-faced here. You can't promote inclusivity domestically and exclusively internationally, because eventually, when you start a fire over there by promoting exclusivity, that fire eventually will find its way to your home. It's like, the whole planet Earth is a neighborhood. If you start a fire over there because you have promoted exclusivity for a long time because of your interest, that fucking fire eventually is gonna find its way to your home, because it's one fucking neighborhood. The whole planet Earth. Especially with information technology and these social media and news. And please don't try to censor social media, because, as I said before, if you can ban Twitter, you may be able to ban Twitter or censor Twitter, and as you have done, censor Facebook, but you can't censor the backdoor chat rooms of Nigerian internet. You can't do that. You can't censor the whole of the information field, all of social media. That you can't censor the Chinese social media, and you can't sell the Nigerian social media, and you can't censor the Russian social media, and you can't censor the Brazilian social media. If you can't censor all of them, please stop trying to censor any of them. Just do the right thing. Promote inclusivity abroad as you promote inclusivity domestically. Period. I'm saying all of this. Salute. I'm saying all of this because a piece of news that came up, it reminded me a lot of Vietnam, and it's just very similar, and it's just upsets people who remember the history. The story was that about the tunnels in Gaza and how the Jewish people are going to have how the white people of Jewish faith, white Europeans of Jewish faith who have, you know, who have been given the right to exclusively administer a piece of land in Asia, how they're going to have a difficult time negotiating these tunnels in Gaza. And their advancements in Gaza is going to be very hindered by these very well built tunnels. And, dealing with tunnels, from what I read, the last time I read about tunnels and tunnel warfare was with regards to Vietnam. And it's very similar. Some pink skins from North America and Europe landing in somebody else's land, the natives are not able to fight over ground in open field because they're not as armed as well, so they go underground, they take the resistance underground and into the tunnels, and when that happens it becomes whack-a-mole. You look over here and the guy is here and you try to shoot him, he goes underground and he pops up behind you and starts shooting at you. That's a very dangerous game of whack-a-mole. That's crazy. It didn't work in Vietnam, it's not going to work over there. Because and because the setup is the same. Why the same tactics are being used by both sides as it was in Vietnam, as it is in Israel? Why the same tactics are being used from both sides? Is because the scenario is the same. The West is promoting an exclusive administration in a foreign land, in a land that doesn't belong to the Pinkskins. They want it to belong to the Pinkskins, but it doesn't belong to the Pinkskins. So let's promote exclusivity, create a war over there, and hopefully we can incorporate that land into the Pinkskin Empire. Maybe we can bring them into the folds of the empire by promoting exclusivity. And what there it was promoting exclusivity of the South Vietnamese against the North Vietnamese, the fucking all Vietnamese. Right now, for the past 70 years, you've been promoting South Korea over North Korea. They're both fucking Koreans. Let them. What happens if Uncle Sam's managers pull the forces back out of Korea? Say, okay, from tomorrow, we don't give a fuck what you do here. What's going to happen? They're going to come to some sort of understanding. Maybe fight a little, probably not. They try some communism, it doesn't work. Try some capitalism, it works better. They continue with that. It's the same thing that fucking happened to Vietnam. Same thing that happened to China. Tried communism, maybe this form of communism, maybe that form of communism. Maybe we have a capitalism with but the ruling class are intellectuals. Different countries have the right to, find their own solutions based on their culture and their history. Find their own solution of how best to, govern ourselves peacefully based on their history and culture. It's not up to you to tell them what form of economy you should practice and what form of governance you should practice, because that's our form of government, and because it's ours, it must be the best, so you should practice it too. So democracy and capitalism for all. Folks, my, you know, dear leaders in the Western Pink Skin Empire, folks, please be Christian. Please preach what you practice. And what I say when I say that, what I mean is that we all know what you're doing. In order to expand the Pink Skin Empire, you're creating these divisions by promoting exclusivity. In Ukraine, in Taiwan, in Israel, used to be in South Africa, you're promoting exclusivity. Right now you're funding a lot of these ethnicities in Iraq and Iran and Syria. You're funding and you're arming a lot of these ethnicities that seek exclusivity. We all know that. You're promoting exclusivity abroad because it benefits you. Division abroad benefits you because division abroad means, first of all, you can sell them a lot of arms, which is apparently the only industry left in the West. And second, the more they fight, the weaker they become, and then one or the other will ask for help, military help, and we can put our soldiers on the ground and we can rule the whole thing. Is it worth it? I mean, this, when I say it's worth it, I mean, this eventually will come home, because I saw in the news that Germany, which has been promoting inclusivity ever since end of World War II, Germany has been promoting inclusivity, especially, you know, after importing lots of Turkish men to work in their factories right after the war, and then, you know, accepting so many Africans and Middle Eastern migrants, illegal or legal, just, you know, after the shit show in the Middle East and Africa that Uncle Sam's managers brought about. They have been accepting all these immigrants and promoting inclusivity, and everything was fine up to now. But now, because you're promoting exclusivity in Israel and giving the right to white Europeans who happen to be Jewish, you're giving them the right to exclusively administer that land in Asia, in brown skin Asia. Now Germany, I saw in the news that Germany has prohibited the waving of the Palestinian flag. You know, a flag that represents the natives of that land, the brown-skinned natives of that land. The Germany, who has been promoting inclusivity, suddenly has to crack down on one of the included groups, which is Muslim, brown-skinned Muslims, because they're all and many ask, why are these motherfuckers have come to Europe and why are they protesting here? First of all, why they came over here? Well, because you turned their home into a shit show by attacking them and bombing them and, you know, promoting exclusivity over there. You know, in Libya, 3-4 fucking exclusive factions have been fighting each other for 20 years because you promoted exclusivity. While Gaddafi, however bad the motherfucker was, while he was there, he promoted inclusivity within his country, so they had peace and quiet. But you went and broke Gaddafi and promoted exclusivity, and now there are 4, 5, 6, however many tribes there are factions, and they all want to exclusively rule their own little shithole. So now Libya is like 5 different countries, and they're all fighting each other. Folks, Germany, France, England are already fighting this situation. And what are they fighting? What are they fighting? Up to this point, they all have been promoting inclusivity But as you can see, the Ukraine war happened because you promote exclusivity in Ukraine. The Israeli war has been going on for 70 years because you're promoting exclusivity in Israel. So these things have shown up in Europe. Now the brown skins and a lot of other people related to Ukraine are in Europe, in Germany and other European countries are being oppressed, are being shut down, basically saying that you're not you have to shut up because we want to promote exclusivity over there, and you cannot protest over here and stay inclusive. If you protest here against our exclusive policies over there, then we are going to lock you up or deport you, or we are going to shut you up or kick you around because you're protesting our exclusive policies on that part of the world. You see what I'm going with this? That this eventually will show up at your own doorstep. And let's put it this way. Even if you shut these people up and you continue, let's assume you shut these domestic brown skins and the domestic protests against the Ukrainian war, let's assume you shut these up for now. Just shut them up. Oppress them, depress them, deport them, shut them up. What will happen organically in the long term? Here's what will happen organically in the long term. For example, the 1 million, 2 million people of Gaza that you want to import into the United States. Sort of like, no. We want an exclusively white Jewish administration ruling over there. So we're going to take in all these brown people that are causing trouble for the pink skins over there. Or we're going to import these people that are causing problem for us over there. What's going to happen organically in the future? You have a few voices right now in the House of Representatives and the Senate who support the brown people and who protest this exclusivity in Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan and this and that. Give it some time, and organically in 10, 20 years, you're going to have so many brown people that these folks are going to elect representatives that in 10, 20 years you are going to have 10 Rashida Tlaib and 10 Ilhan Omar and 10 Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You will have 10 of them in your House of Representatives, and then you're forced into promoting inclusivity abroad as you do domestically. You see what I mean? You either understand what's going on, what you're doing, and what is going to be its results. You either understand that, or you continue, and eventually, organically, you're going to reach the same destination. The destination is that you have to promote inclusivity. And, if you don't promote inclusivity abroad, then those people abroad are going to find their way into your home, and eventually they're going to find their voice in your home, and eventually they're going to force you peacefully by representation, they're going to force you to also promote inclusivity abroad as you do domestically. I think the easier choice is right now you recognize this, and without importing more brown and black people, you start promoting inclusivity in those shitholes. And let's not remember, I need to mention this, Uncle Sam's managers, you have the power of the purse. You have the power of let's not kid ourselves. If tomorrow you tell Israel that We will not pay you until you become an inclusive government. We no longer want you to be an exclusive government. We only pay you if you become an inclusive government with the local brownskins. If you tell that tomorrow to Israeli administration, war is over. All the skirmishes over there is over. You say, you basically say, we're not going to give you a penny unless you become inclusive with the local brownskins. You form an inclusive government, and don't give me this two-state solution. I'm sorry. It's a small piece of shitty land that there is no way. There is not much there to make it a two-state. There is barely enough there to have one state. You want to make it two-state, it's sort of like saying that, we're going to divide Kuwait into 5 countries. We're going to have 2 different countries in Rhode Island. It's barely there. It's a very small piece of land. It's barely there. 2-state is not going to work. It has to be 1 state, but it has to be inclusive. Just like United States, just like Western Europe. It has to be inclusive. Inclusive that means, a secular executive branch, a secular judicial branch, a secular legislature branch. Secular. The same thing you please be Christian. The same thing you promote domestically, you should promote internationally. Please be Christian. I'm not very religious, but at this point, I think you guys at least need to be religious. You have the power of the purse. If you tell the fucking Ukrainians that you have to include the ethnic Russians in the government, you have to include the fucking Russian Orthodox Church, you have to allow them to let the Russian Orthodox Church remain open. If you tell them they have to be inclusive, or else you won't pay them, or else you won't send them arms, eventually you don't need to send them arms, because once they become fucking inclusive, they don't need the arms to fight each other. Please be Christian. Preach as you practice. Expect inclusivity, preach inclusivity, force inclusivity internationally as you do domestically. You will stop all these wars.